Hello YouTube and welcome back to Fire Gaming Project. So in today's video, I'm going to talk about Hu Tao's Rerun banner. It's officially announced now by MiHoYo. It's posted on their social media, on their Twitter, and it's also in the in-game notification system already. So let's get into it. Obviously it's not going to be here yet because it's still Child's banner for another 2 days and a bit. But yeah, on Hu Tao's banner, it's going to be Hu Tao, of course, as you can see on the screen, Thoma, as we already knew that already beforehand, and we have Sayu and Dionna. So I'm going to quickly go over each of these characters really briefly, though. I don't want to keep this video too long. And keeping in mind, I've already done an in-depth review of Hu Tao previously when I was doing a rerun predictions banner video, as well as just an in-depth review of using her as well, because I really do like using Hu Tao myself. Okay. Also, I've also previously done a Sayu review video, and I'm probably going to do an updated version of that since making that video, because that was a few weeks ago, and I have since changed her up a little bit. And I did not do a Dionna video yet, but stay tuned. I will be doing a Dionna review video for the after the official Hu Tao rerun banner is dropping later in this coming week. Okay, and I've already done a pre-release analysis of Thoma as well. But of course, once he drops and once we get a hold of him, we will definitely do more in-depth review of that. Keeping in mind, Thoma is technically available right now, as we already know, in the Hangout event, Hangout series event, and you can technically steal him if you use the if you log off your internet while you have him and glitch it, basically. Okay, so that part we've already discussed as well in my previous videos. You can check that out as well. So before we get into it, and before I show once again my Hu Tao build, for those of you who don't know, and talk about each character, please make sure that you guys subscribe, hit the like button, hit the notification bell, and leave me any leave me any comments and any questions in the comment section. Thank you. Okay, so let's get to it. So I'll talk about my build for Hu Tao and Sayu and Dionna in a super brief way, and talk about their pros and cons, and then I'll tell you whether or not I'm planning to pull on this banner or not. Okay, so for Hu Tao, currently, of course, mine's level 90. I have her crit rate just at 66%. It could be higher. Her crit damage is over 200 already, which is pretty okay, but it could be higher. Energy recharge, she doesn't suffer from that as an issue. So, but of course, more energy recharge just means more alt spamming. Right now, there is like a resonance on the screen. That's why there's this resistance issues. That's not the main thing. So then there's a pyro damage, 61%. So you can ignore these resistance ones. It's because in my team right now, I think I'm getting the extra little bonus from one of these other characters or something like that, I think. Anyway, and then weapon, I already have Staff of Homa and at R1 already. I've had it since the very beginning. So for me, that will be another video right after this one, because I'm going to talk about the weapons banner separately. Okay, not just to make sure that the video is not too long, but pretend that you don't go for the Staff of Homa. What else can she do? What else can she use? She is actually very versatile. Obviously, Staff of Homa is her best in slot, but she will do well with the Primordial Jade Spear if you got this from the standard banner or from losing 50-50, or during Xiao's banner, or if you didn't get Xiao, for example. She does not need energy recharge, so Engulfing Lightning, Skyward Spine, and the Catch won't be necessary for her, but they will still be strong on her, okay? Just independently and very neutrally speaking. She'll do fine with a Black Cliff Pole as well, because keeping in mind they both have a crit damage substat. This is not far behind, 55%. This is not far behind the 66% of the Staff of Homa. Of course, this passive requires you to kill enemies quick, but you know what? You know what though? With Hu Tao, she can wipe them out really quick, so you'll definitely proc this. It's 25% at R5 times 3, max 3 stacks, right? So that's like 72%, okay? That's pretty significant. The base attack obviously is lower for a 4-star compared to a 5-star, so it's like about 100 off, but that's not a big deal. I highly recommend the Black Cliff series. I've done a video about it recommending it before. I'm sure you guys all know this already. The Black Cliff series will be coming back in the Paimon shop as of basically in 2 days, because for November 2021, it will be the Black Cliff series once again. Okay, so you could use her with the Crescent Pike for physical damage, and I believe the Dragon Spine Spear is also physical damage. I mean, I wouldn't recommend the Dragon Spine Spear unless you have high refines, similar to the Crescent Pike if you want to do that, but it's not necessary. Of course, Favonius is another one with energy recharge. Again, it's not necessary, and she would also do okay with the Lithic Spear because it is obviously because she's from Li Yue. But again, for this one, you need high refines and you need at least 3 out of 4 characters from Li Yue. Of course, she herself is from Li Yue, so that's 1 out of the 4 already. The last one that's okay and decent substat on her is the Dragon's Bane. This one has an Elemental Mastery substat, so it's good for proccing her elemental reactions with her Pyro. So this is not bad as well, but definitely this can be upgraded at some point. Okay, so just keep those in mind. Artifact-wise, she'll do fine with a 4-piece Crimson Witch of Flames. She will also do fine, especially fine actually, with the 4-piece Shimenawa's Reminiscence now that dungeon's out. So if you are new to getting Hu Tao, or if you didn't get her before and you're going to get her now, start farming or have your Shimenawa set ready, because that's now better than her 4-piece Crimson Witch. Now both are comparably good, okay, just so we're clear. So I wouldn't recommend like farming specifically for her unless you really want to, or if you haven't started already, then at least then you have a choice now. The other issue with the Crimson Witch of Flames domain is that the other set that's on there is the what is it called? The one that has the resistance for Pyro. Let me see if I can find a piece of like whatever it's called. These ones. The Lava Walker, there we go. Yeah, so that's the only other issue with that domain, is that you might end up with Lava Walker pieces that you're going to find are useless in comparison. Whereas if you go farm the Shimenawa's Reminiscence domain, you'll get Emblem of Severed Fate pieces, which are awesome. And as of the publishing of this video, both Emblem and Reminiscence sets are both great for a variety of characters now at this point. Those have become like the best weapons, less artifacts, replacing a variety of other artifact builds already for many characters. So keep that in mind. But for me, as I mentioned in my previous Hu Tao video, I was not able to get 4 pieces that are good for her, so unfortunately I'm just leaving her as 2-piece Crimson and 2-piece Gladiators. And the reason why I didn't do a 4-piece Crimson, also because I don't have enough pieces for her, but also because I wanted to buff her HP. You'll see why, because I ended up with HP pieces, because she scales off of HP. So I'm going to quickly scroll through these. So HP, see as the main stat here, right? And Pyro, and then crit rate here. So the reason why is because I wanted to give her extra attack, but because these ones have substats are HP, and they just worked better for her at that time that when I had my pieces, like my artifact pieces. See, these all have HP as substat, that's why. So that's the reason only why I went that route. Of course, I would just say, go for your main stats, go for your substats, and go for your set bonus as a last resort, because I would focus on, if you have pieces lying around, rather than going to try to hope for, the RNG when you're doing domain runs to get like good pieces, because it can take you forever and it can be really frustrating. I posted a video a few weeks back saying how frustrating it was just farming the Emblem and the Reminiscence domain, that I couldn't even get like good pieces for my Raiden, Shogun, and other characters. So just giving a heads up. But definitely go for those builds for her. She's very flexible, but I would recommend just sticking with Crimson, maybe a variation of Crimson plus Gladiator like what I have, or Crimson plus Shimenawa, or just all Shimenawa. I think the other ones that she could, if you really wanted to, you could use Emblem of Severed Fate, but she does not need the energy. What else can she do? Let me see here. I think those are pretty much the main ones. I mean, you could try 2-piece Wanderer's Troop if your earlier game, and you can then do the Elemental Mastery. That's okay too. And then just quickly scrolling through here, I don't want to take too much time on this. Yeah, I think those are pretty much the main ones. Okay, constellation-wise, I just want to make this clear once and for all, because many people are asking that in recent videos for other streamers as well. Is it important to get her C1 or her Staff of Homa? I'm going to answer this question here. I think you don't need her C1, and you also don't need her Staff of Homa. So that's my answer. Because C1, although it can be a nice quality of life thing, where she doesn't consume stamina when she's charging attack, you can charge spam, but you also technically need to jump cancel or dash cancel while you're charging in order to get more DPS time, right? And honestly, because of the way that her talent, and we're going to go there next, but basically the way that her talent and the timing of it doesn't last that long anyway. You're going to swap her out afterward, after her Pyro Infusion ends anyway. So it's not a big deal, honestly. So that's why I don't think it's necessary to go for C1. Now, I did get C1 early on, back then when she first came out, so that's just me, but I would say honestly to you guys, it's not recommended, not needed. Staff of Homa is similarly not needed. She'll do just fine with any of those other weapons I mentioned already. Oh, and one other weapon that I should have mentioned was the upcoming Wavebreaker's Fin. I've already talked about pre-release analysis in my recent videos yesterday, I think, or the day before. So check those out. But basically, the Wavebreaker's Fin could be really good for Hu Tao as well, because it would be boosting her burst, her ultimate, as well as it basically is based off of energy, right? However, unless you don't use her ult that much, because I don't actually, I use her E and for her pyro infusion. So for me, that would not be one that I would consider. But if you're going to use her burst, which is also very, very strong, then definitely consider the Wavebreaker spin, which is a new one. However, I talked about this as well. There's a risk too. You may not get it. Okay. You may have seen in my celebration video right before this earlier today. I pulled on the Polar Star weapon banner. I have gotten 0 Akuomaru claymores. And I will tell you that trying to get a 4-star special limited edition weapon is very hard. I will just tell you that right now. So hopefully, if you guys are polling, then good luck to you. But I wouldn't bet on it. Let's put it that way. In most cases. Anyway, let's move on. Talents, I've already crowned her, so I love my Hu Tao. I've crowned her normal attack, because her normal attack, after it's pyro infused, is where the damage comes from. Now, everyone thinks that's from the E, but the E only turns it on. As you can see, it only attack increases and the Blood Blossom damage increases. It does not give you the little thing that has a chart with all the hits, see? So, and this has the hits, including the one right there, charge attack, right? You see that? So that's why that one is more important than this one for if you were to crown them. I've brought her, since the previous review for her, I brought her Spirit Soother, her ult, all up to level 9. I'm considering crowning this, however, it's not a priority for me. As you can see on the screen, I only have 3 crowns left, so I do have to plan it. I've been playing since end of 1.0, early 1.1 till now. I have collected all the crowns up to 2.2 right now, and I've been using them on my favorite characters, which includes Hu Tao. And of course Child and Kazuha, etc. So check out those videos. But I have 3 crowns left, and I'm not sure who to put them on. I have some ideas, but we're not sure yet. But eventually I'm going to spend them all. That's just me. Okay, moving along. I don't want to keep this too long. So Sayu, I've already done a review of her, so this is just super quick. For my 4-star characters, I leave them at 5 out of 6 ascension level, and I leave them at 70 out of 80. Okay, so basically I won't go into too much detail here, but Sayu overall is a really great healer. She's like a mini Jean. She needs energy, just like all the Inazuma characters, they need energy. So I recommend either the Favonius Greatsword or the Sacrificial Greatsword. Where is it? Here as an example, right? I recommend those ones. You would not use her in a DPS or sub DPS role, so you can just forget about it and don't even bother. You could consider also the Rain Slasher on her for EM, because she is Animo after all. However, this one is specifically for Hydro and Electro afflictions only, so it's not really that good on her. Yeah, so we'll just leave it there. Artifact-wise, she'll just be the 4-piece Viridescent Venerer, if you have it, okay? If you don't have it, and I don't recommend farming for it at this point, just for specifically support characters either, if you have like a 2-piece, that's fine. If you can go for her Wanderer's Troop for Elemental Mastery, that's okay too. Where is it? These, right? And then like, if you wanted to increase her attack, you can just give her 2-piece Gladiator. You can also give her 2-piece Shimenawa. She does not need a 4-piece Shimenawa. I would rather use save the 4-piece Shimenawa for other characters, or even a 4-piece Emblem of Severed Fate. I would rather you save those for other characters that you want to use as DPSs or sub DPSs. So that's why I'm saying just give her like whatever you have left over. That's basically my approach for most support characters. I just give them leftover pieces from other characters or for farming from other characters. Constellation-wise, I did get her at C6 back then. I would say that you don't need any of her constellations to make her do well, but of course having them, just like in general, okay, is always good for most of the 4-star characters, basically, right? I'm going to go through this really quickly, though. So, like, yeah, this ignores HP limits, so it basically removes a restriction, similar to Bennett. This one just allows her to damage and heal, basically, simultaneously. This is plus 3 levels. This one is getting more energy. This is plus 3 levels. And then this one is similarly just increases the damage dealt and increases the healing restored. So again, they're not must-haves, but obviously it just makes her better if you can get them. Talent-wise, for 4-star characters, just my own personal experience, and this will be the same for when I look at Diona too, I don't like to spend too much resources on them. You could actually just leave her normal attack at a low level or up to 6 only. I just went 1 more. I didn't have to. I guess I could have just left her at 6. These are technically 8 and 8, and that's it. That's the maximum based on her ascension level. I'm not going to ascend her further, nor am I going to bring these up further either. You don't even need to bring these to 8. Technically, you can bring them to 6, but then I just like having the extra healing and a little bit of extra, like, swirl damage and extra damage. Okay, moving on. Diona. So again, similar thing, 5 out of 6, 70 out of 80. So Diona is similarly just Again, for support characters that are not going to DPS or whatever, I don't really care about the crit at all. I'll be very honest with you, so I don't really care about that. Yeah, so, oh, sorry, let me quickly go back here. Did I go through these quickly? Let me quickly go through them. So yeah, I have this on her, and I gave her Elemental Mastery, because she doesn't not need like an Animo damage cup. You could do that too, but I wanted some Elemental Mastery because she is Animo after all, and I didn't end up putting an Elemental Mastery one here because I had to make the set, so it just depend, like again, these were leftover pieces. So yeah, so that's why. Okay, so Diona, sorry. So back to here. So yeah, I already showed this part, but I want to quickly make sure that I do cover it. Again, those resistances because I have 4 different characters of different types. That's why you automatically get a 15% thing. Technically, Sacrificial Bow is her best because it allows her to throw her cat's paw shield and attack twice. And of course, you want energy for her because it can allow her to ult more often and therefore heal more often, and also her healing field also does damage too, right? For 4-star characters, I don't necessarily bring up their weapons to 90 out of 90. I will if I have the resources and have nothing else better to do, but usually I leave them to 80 out of 90. That's just me, and I try to get them to R5 if I can. For her, I would recommend either a 4-piece Maiden's Beloved, or I wouldn't even bother with any cryo pieces. You could do that, of course, if you want to get some extra cryo damage out of her, so you could do the Blizzard Strayer pieces, but I would just focus on her healing, so Maiden's Beloved. And then in this case, I just gave her a little bit of attack bonus because of Gladiator's Finale, and there's probably a reason for that. It's just again because of leftover pieces. I also tried out the Retracing Bolide on her before. I will say that's a very niche build, but it can be something if you were trying to go for the Archaic Petra and you got those, and then you can just give them to her as well. She scales off of HP, so make sure that you have HP for her main stats if you can, or lots of good or lots of substats that have HP on them, okay? And as you can see, I didn't give her a cryo cup. I didn't give her any kind of elemental damage cup or anything like that because she does not serve that role for me, so I just gave her another HP cup instead. And then here, I also gave her an HP thing, so this just ended up giving her 18% bonus because of the way that it worked out. I did not even bother giving her a healing bonus. I could have given that to her, but I gave it to somebody else instead to make a set for them. So it just depends on what you have, and she's doing fine with just HP, honestly. She's the second best healer and shielder in the game, I believe. I think Chi-Chi is still the best healer, or maybe Kokomi's up there too. But yeah, I think Diona is pretty up there actually, or maybe she's like the 3rd or 4th best healer, but definitely 2nd best shielder as of right now before Thoma's release. We don't know yet about his shielding. Constellation wise, I have her at C6. This just regenerates more energy for her. This one creates the shield. What is it? So then you get 50% of the IC Pause shield's damage absorption. So it's just a little bit more damage and more absorption, plus 3 levels. C4 is the, what is it? The charge time is, for aim shots is reduced, and we would never use that, honestly. So that's nothing for me. This is plus 3 levels, and then this one is, again, increasing incoming healing and increasing elemental mastery, etc. So again, not must-haves, but they're nice to have for sure. Talent-wise, so as you'll see here, I don't even use her normal attack at all. I don't even know why I brought this up to 6 even. You can probably leave this at 1 even. But I brought up to 6 just for consistency's sake with all of my roster. And then again, these are 8 and 8, and I don't plan to bring them up any further. I'm not gonna, so as you notice, I didn't go into the detail of these other things because eventually you'll get those anyways unlocked. They're definitely useful. But yeah, they're not like must to have, but if you were to build these characters, you're going to get those other passives unlocked anyway, so I didn't want to focus too much time on those. But yeah, I'll just quickly go through them here just for the screen purposes. Yeah, so anyway, I'll just wrap this up now. So I recommend polling on this banner if you really want Hu Tao and or Thoma. And if you're okay with getting the 2 chibi characters, then that's okay too. They're just bonuses and nice to have, okay? Both are healers and one's a shielder. I totally love Hu Tao, so I'm going to be biased here, but I recommend getting her. Now, she's a single target DPS, and she always has that risk-reward situation, right? She will lose HP every time she procs her E, and that makes it so that she's very at risk of getting killed as well, but it brings up her damage as long as she's under 50%. So I recommend her because I think that it's kind of fun and challenging in that way, but it definitely also limits her usage in certain cases as well, because if she's corroded, she's going to die, right? You know, so for example, but I love this character, and I don't recommend getting any of her constellations if you can avoid it, but definitely if you really wanted one constellation, then go for C1 then. All the other ones are technically nice to have only, they just increase her damage, right? So they're not necessary. And then, yeah, I think that it's a great banner to pull on, but I want to also caution everybody, if you're trying to go for Thoma specifically and not for Hu Tao, be very careful because it's very hard to specifically get 4 stars, especially to C6. And also, I'll be honest with you, for my pre-release analysis of Thoma, I don't actually think he's going to be that good. This is an unpopular opinion, but I don't actually think he's going to be that good. Meaning that he's not going to be a DPS for sure, not even a sub DPS. You can probably build him that way, but he's totally just a shielder, honestly. And a pyro, maybe, you know, pyro, like, you know, I guess, like, yeah, like a pyro guy, basically. You know, he can shoot out a little bit of pyro for your normal attacks. That's all. And some pulsing. That's it. So I don't actually, so if you're only going for Hu Tao, then yes, pull on this banner. If you are going for Thoma, I don't think you should pull on this banner, specifically because, I mean, or you can go for it and try to get like at least a few copies of him, sure. But like, I don't think that this is a must pull banner, unfortunately. But I do love Hu Tao, so if you are going for her and you love her and you really want her, then yes, pull on this. But again, I just want to be honest with you. She's not like a must-have character, to be honest. She is really strong though, but she's not a must-have character. But she's fun to have for sure. And Thoma is definitely not going to be a must-have character. I'm pretty much calling it now. Even before he comes out, I'm pretty sure he's not going to be. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please leave me some comments and questions. Are you guys going to pull on this banner? What do you guys think? And yeah, please feel free to stay tuned for the next video when I talk about the weapon banner. So thank you guys, and I'll see you guys in the next